Welcome back to the archive. If you haven't seen the first episode, aka May 2008, go check it out now for an intro to this series. Anyway, the first video starts off like this.
I'm going to call McDonald's for my job reference.
In the last episode, I was told to call them in a couple days to get my reference, so let's see if I'm successful this time.
Oh, hi, is Chris there?
No, he's actually not here till tonight. Can I take a message?
Yes, it's Philip Adams.
Yep.
He told me to call up on Monday for my reference, and someone on Monday told me he wasn't going to be...
He hasn't actually been in the city. Won't be till store till Friday. So
Friday.
give him a call on Friday.
Okay.
No worries, mate.
No worries is another common Australian phrase along with the word mate, which I keep failing to prove the fact that nobody says it here, but anyway, no worries represents a feeling of friendliness, good humour, optimism and mateship. Seriously, are they trying to stick the word mate into everything now? And what's with the no worries on the back of that car? Does it mean that if you crash into it, the guy will come out of his car and say, no worries mate, come to my place this arvo and I'll put another shrimp on the barbie for ya. Anyway, back to McDonald's now. She told me to call in another 2 days time, so let's give it a go.
I haven't been very well lately. I've had flu-like symptoms.
Wow, flu-like symptoms? It's probably due to the fact that I'm so sick of calling McDonald's.
7-3. So this is the third time trying to get in contact with Chris. Will I get in contact? That's up to... What?
Will I get in contact? It sounds like the cliffhanger to the end of a TV show. Anyway, I tried to call over and over, but it just hung up straight away. In the next video, I continue to talk about my excitement for Jasmine to be born, so let's move on to my fourth attempt to get my job reference.
9938, and I'm trying to get Chris. If there's no Chris, it'll have to be another fifth attempt. But, yeah, we'll just try.
If the head was an inch closer, my head would have hit it when I leant back on my chair. Anyway, enough silliness, let's see if I get my reference.
You're joking.
Good evening, Brooklyn McDonald's. This is Jess speaking.
Oh, hello.
Just when I thought they wouldn't answer, and then they answered. This made the rest of the phone call very awkward.
Is Chris there?
No, Chris isn't here tonight. He's in tomorrow night.
Do you know what time he'll be there?
He's doing close tomorrow night.
Oh, so it'll be here, at around 9 tomorrow night?
It will be here at around 9 PM tomorrow night. Wow, the way that sentence was phrased made it sound like I was calling my boss an it. The word it was meant to refer to my potential future phone call at 9 PM the next night, not a person. Anyway, let's move on to the next night.
I've got to get my, job reference.
All this time I've been trying to get a job reference, but I actually had no idea what a job reference was. I thought it was like a receipt or something that you get after working somewhere. I had no idea it was actually a review of your work quality and personality given by your boss. And as my mum had been getting progressively more angry at me for still not getting the reference, I let out some of that frustration during this phone call, which was extremely rude and certainly not a good reflection of me for my reference.
Good evening, Brooklyn McDonald's. This is Steve. How can I help you?
Hi, is Chris there?
May I know who is on line?
It's Philip.
Philip Adam.
Yep.
Just a moment, Chris. Yeah, Chris speaking.
Oh yes, I've been trying to contact you for the, past week. Oh, hi.
What's up, mate?
It's, you told me on Monday to call for that, job reference, although I called on Monday and then they said Wednesday, then they said Friday, and then I got sick.
Wow, okay, this is a massive facepalm moment. Don't rub it in and blame your boss for all the times you've had to call, even though it is somewhat his fault. He's literally judging you on your attitude and will be talking to your next boss about it, so this is literally the worst thing I could be doing right now.
Alright, man, we got your reference, okay?
Yes, please.
You want to come and get it, buddy?
I'll probably get it this Friday night, so probably in 2 days from now.
What time will you come get it?
Probably around 10 o'clock.
Right, night?
At night, yeah.
Oh, okay, alright, you'll have it done for you, Phil.
Okay.
No worries, Phil. I'll catch you later, buddy.
Okay, bye.
Alright, bye.
Wow, he's actually going to write it, even though I complained to him on the phone about how hard it was to get in contact with him. Well, let's take a look at it. As you can see, it says I was always punctual, even more so than my manager, as I always called him at the planned times, but he wasn't there himself. But when I rubbed that fact into his face, it made me more punchable rather than punctual. This is further demonstrated later, where it says I showed commitment to following instructions. They said call on Monday, I called on Monday. They said call on Wednesday, I called on Wednesday. They said call on Friday, I called on Friday. So yes, I showed a lot of commitment to following those instructions. Anyway, we'd better move on, as I'm now entering the red zone on Jasmine's birth calendar.
We are now entering the red zone of the Jasmine video. All I've got to do is find a red texter, which I just found. So, the red zone starts now.
Seriously, I don't think anything could be more cringy than that.
We're in the red zone, we're in the red zone, we're in the red zone, Jasmine! Jasmine, we're in the red zone, yay!
Wow, somehow it got even more cringy. I'm just too embarrassed, let's move on.
Come on, Benjarinas. Come on, pick your movie.
Gee, Benjarinas is certainly a strange nickname for my dad, but anyway, to the point now. My mum and I set up a prank where we found two completely inappropriate movie trailers and told my dad that we were going to watch a movie that night, and it was up to him to pick the movie after watching the trailers.
This is Teeth.
Okay, go.
So I imagine you have no idea what to expect.
Not really.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna bite you. Slide down. Put your feet right in here.
Teeth is an R-rated 2007 movie where a high school girl works out she has an extra set of teeth in a place where you really shouldn't have teeth.
This is not suitable for a kid.
Overall, my dad's reaction was surprisingly dull, and the next movie we show him, which I won't even mention the name of, was about a certain human body part, detached from any human, going around killing people.
Or $10. But under a moonlit night on a remote mountain.
How long is it gonna take to relight?
This isn't appropriate.
Yeah?
Oh. Yes. You're telling me it knows Morse code?
It's got a name.
If you see it coming, you're already dead.
Yeah, my dad reacted a bit more with this trailer, but as YouTube has rules about keeping things family friendly, I can't really let you hear any audio or show you any more of this video, but let's see what my dad thought.
Which one?
Which one? The first one. That's
Teeth.
Let's go.
bloody hell. Sort of stuff they make there.
I can't believe he ended up picking any of those movies after how terrible they were. Anyway, moving along through the videos now, I showed off my McDonald's reference after finally receiving it, and in the video following that, I discussed the predicted end of the world.
This is apparently when the end of the world is going to happen. December 21st, 2012. Now, obviously, if you're watching this, it couldn't be the end of the world.
Yep, you took the words out of my mouth. We all know that prediction was wrong, along with August 23rd, 2013, April 2014, September 2015, April 2018, and more recently, June 9th, 2019. In the next decade, we have another 3 end-of-world predictions in 2020, 2021, and 2026. And just as hundreds of these prediction dates have passed without anything ever happening over the last 2,000 years, I'm certain these non-scientific near-future dates will come to pass too. Anyway, next up I show off the nappies we got for Jasmine and discuss some of the other things that we bought for her.
Okay, the cot's coming in about a week. She's got her little pram and her strollers. Tomorrow, Grandpa is going to bring a capsule for Jasmine. A capsule is like something you have in a car, so the baby sits in a little seat with its own seatbelt. So the baby's protected, because the baby can't really fit into a normal human-sized seatbelt.
Babies are still humans too, you know.
Like a grown-up human-sized seatbelt.
Grown-up human-sized seatbelt. You know a grown-up human is called an adult, don't you? Anyway, moving on, I talk about Project Naddle, which was a prototype version of Xbox Connect, and later I discussed that Jasmine's birth could occur much earlier than we expected.
Jasmine, my future sister, be born any time now, and I mean any time now. Mum's feeling stuff that you usually feel when you go through with labour and stuff, and Jasmine will be born there. So we've just got about a month and she'll be born. Everyone's looking forward to her. Every time you mention the word Jasmine, Dad goes like that. You can just say the word Jasmine and he'll do that. There you go again. So Jasmine,
Okay, enough strange sounds now. We'll skip the video where I talk about my uncle getting me into the Forex market and instead move on to attempting to set up Jasmine's cot for the first time.
Feel that Mum knows. Mum knows.
These are supposed to clip, right? Forget how to... Can you read how it clips?
Lift the 4 side rails upwards.
So the first step was lift the 4 side rails upwards, but we couldn't seem to get them to click. A big mistake was made right at the start, but it takes us a while to figure it out.
Lift the 4 rails upwards from the middle until each locks into position.
Well, it's not locking into position.
Wait.
The woman did it so easily in the thing. Oh, did you do it? It's not locking into position. She did it so easily in the shop. She demonstrated it to me. How come I can't do it?
Should be locking in position.
Jasmine's brilliant. But how come we can't do it? The woman demonstrated in the shop. She did it in like 10 seconds. We must be doing something wrong. We have to be.
No, it says here, lift them up from the middle until it locks in position.
Look at the video, how funny it looks, Mum.
Yeah, we may be laughing now at how silly we seem, but the laughter soon turns into anger.
It says to actually push on the middle.
No, it doesn't say. That's at the end.
I was onto something there about pushing down on the centre of the cot in the next step, but as my dad said, that's the last step, and it's listed as the last step for a reason.
Jasmine, I think once you're born, Jasmine, you'll have to do this yourself.
Yeah, 2 adults and a teenager can't do it, and you're telling a newborn baby to set up its own cot. Good luck with that.
Actually, how about we all try 4 at the same time?
Maybe you better pause this.
You can't pause it.
Just get rid of it now,
No.
because it's actually getting frustrating.
So at this point, I shut down the video and then off camera we kind of figured out the problem, so I started recording again.
Okay, we got these sides perfect. But these...
Oh, this is 2.
Yeah.
Oh, it must have something to do with this thing. Helps it.
Yes, we got them. We got all of them.
It never said that in the instructions.
Actually, yes, it does say that. It first tells you to lift the cot edges, and then it tells you to push down on the centre base of the cot as the following step. The problem we had was that upon setting the cot up, my mum instantly pushed down the centre part of the cot before we'd locked the edges into place. This just goes to show that the steps are written in a specific order for a purpose. Don't go jumping ahead to future steps before you've completed the earlier ones.
Happy with it?
It's got a little... Looks quite modern and stylish, doesn't it?
Well, once you get it.
Anyway, we set up the cot at the end of the bed for a test run and imagined what it would be like if Jasmine was around.
And you can just imagine little fingers there and a head here, and what do they see? A big schoolboy. A grumpy old schoolboy in his bed.
After this, we packed the cot away and all went to bed. But the next morning, we were in for a huge surprise.
Just before 5 AM at like 4:50 AM, I needed to go to the toilet. Then a few minutes later, Mum went into the toilet, and then suddenly she started saying, I've got to pack up, I've got to go. And then once she'd done that, she just left, and Dad left with her as well, so now they're both at the hospital. Now, I'm just saying this could be the day. There's a high chance that she's going into labour today.
4 hours later, my dad came home and shared the good news.
And Jasmine has officially been born. Officially.
No, she was born at 10:46, the young darling.
10:46.
And that's a picture of the little thing.
Yeah, great. A white screen on a terrible old Nokia phone. After a bit of effort, I was able to get the image to show, but let's just skip forward to a few hours later when Dad took me to the hospital to see Jasmine.
This is Jasmine, the first day that she's born. She's so tiny, isn't she? Look, that's my hand.
Yeah, she sure was tiny and also not able to do much at all, so we just sat and watched her various facial movements.
Yeah, no, I said, like she said, she admitted she was at fault, but never changed her medication. The mother-in-law had heart failure that we...
A little cute. She's got the cutest mouth in Sydney, eh? Boogie Jazz.
Dad,
Not me.
Mum, what would you think about that whole experience?
Not going through it again.
What about one more?
Forget it.
Oh, come on, you've just created the cutest mouth in Sydney according to Dad. How about you go for the cutest mouth in the world?
And she's got mini little tear ducts doing little
Yeah, she was
tears.
crying before, like
Wasn't
tears were
crying.
coming out.
Little tear duct. Oh, look at the little bubble. She's got a bubble. Got the first grey hair.
You don't count grey hairs yet.
I think she wants to retire now.
Yeah, right. A grey hair on the day you're born? Well, I guess my comments weren't very intelligible either.
Hello, Jasmine. Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. She's been on Earth her whole life. It's not like she grew up in a chamber on Mars or something. On the topic of a chamber though, she was put in a humidicrib to help regulate her temperature as she was born premature.
Now when you're walking into that, whenever, always keep the top flat like this, okay? Oops.
Yep, that was the first of many times I heard Jasmine cry. At this point, they had to put a feeding tube through her nose, as premature babies often don't feed properly. She was also heavily monitored via machines and often moved her hands quickly due to the startle reflex. After her first nappy change, or diaper change as you'd call it in America, she started to open her eyes a little more.
Look at filming the little face with the little eyes.
I've got the whole thing.
Zoom in on the little eyes. Jasmine has just completed her first Father Christmas. As you can see, she's quite proud of it.
Yeah, my dad seems to associate toilet behaviour with Christmas. A fart is called a Santa, and a poo is called a Father Christmas. He even plays Christmas music while going to the toilet sometimes, as you'll see in the trip to Burnie in 2019. Anyway, Jasmine got a lot of attention in her humidicrib and has already started putting her fingers to her mouth.
That's a good.
You want to eat your fingers, you little darling? She thinks they're fish fingers.
That would be pretty fishy if she was born with fish fingers. But anyway, my dad took me home after this and came to film Jasmine again on her third day of life, but let's move forward to her fourth day of life when Nana and Grandpa visited the hospital and saw her for the first time.
Plenty of hair now.
She's got a decent amount of hair, doesn't she?
Yes, we've got a lot of hair.
Although many babies are born with hair, they actually lose it during the first few months and grow new hair.
It's not going in here now at all.
No, it's going into her nose right down to her stomach. It's the way it has to be premature baby, Mum.
Yeah, can I make
What a person.
All those people looking at me.
Look at, she's doing little eyes.
Oh, she stuck her tongue out.
Oh, that was adorable.
Philip will like that. He came the first 2 times, but the third time now he's novelty's worn off.
Well, you can't blame a teenage boy for getting slightly bored at staring at a baby's face for 3 hours every day. So of course I came the first few times, but by the 3rd or 4th day, I decided to stay home.
Excuse me. Yes. Would I be able to have a glass of water? I'm thirsty.
Sure. Actually, your family can get you one just from the kitchen out there if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why my dad thought it was necessary to film himself getting my nana some water, but wow, he had one job there and he messed it up.
There you go, Nana.
Thank you, lovey.
That's alright. Looks like she's developed her first mohawk.
We decided to make Jasmine with an E in the end because we looked at it written down on paper. We spent half an hour looking at it and then we decided it looked better with an E on the end. This is formula. 5 or 6 births on the 24th.
Was it?
Yeah, 24/7.
24/7, yeah.
I've often told people that my sister was born 24/7 and they give a strange look until I explain that her birth was on the 24th of July.
Oh, let me get a shot of that leg.
Just the 2 little legs.
Those legs look absolutely delicious. I could see them on a barbecue.
Yeah, my dad always sounds creepy when he looks at cute things. He believes cute things belong on barbecues for some strange reason that I've still yet to understand.
Can you actually see her elbow? You can? Yeah. She's very awkward to hold because she's all wobbly and heads like this, and you know what I mean? I'm finding it hard to hold. So do you like her or not?
Yeah. It's got the Barry stamp of approval, Jasmine has.
Hi there, could I?
Well, that's certainly a way to simplify it, but from my extensive TAFE course that had topics on the psychology of babies and children, babies always cry for a reason, and by analysing the tones and sounds of the cry using Dunstan baby language, you can discover the exact reason they're crying.
Well, darling, we better make tracks.
At this point, my Nana and Grandpa decided to leave. Remember, this is the last video in the archive featuring my Nana. You won't be seeing any more videos with her in them due to her declining health. After my grandparents left, my dad had a go of holding Jasmine, and later my mum had dinner while holding Jasmine in her arms.
Can I not be filmed as I'm eating?
I just got 2 shots of you having the soup, that's all, just for a memory.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why eating soup is a meaningful memory that you want filmed, but hey, I've filmed plenty of meaningless videos, so I can't talk myself. Anyway, time to move on to the next video.
My baby sister Jasmine is gonna come home on Tuesday. It is now currently Thursday. Oh, shit.
Yep, that's what you call instant karma.
Just to say what just happened, he went right up to my face. He went, little one, and that made me jump. So when I jumped, my shoulder went up, and when my shoulder went up, it hit his chin. So I've got a sore ear, he's got a sore chin.
Anyway, you get the picture. Jasmine will be home with us in just under a week, so we'll end off this episode here, and I'll see you guys in the next episode featuring August 2009. The episode where Jasmine comes home, and I make a lot of videos of Jasmine. See you then.